Hey everyone, how you doing today? It's that time of year again where we are looking ahead to the future, thinking about our goals and intentions for the next year and setting up our reading journals. So come with me as I take you through my setup for 2023. As with last year, I do have a candle prepared. This is my Soul Severer candle from my shop, which I will shamelessly link below. And this is inspired by Daughter of Darkness by Catherine and Elizabeth Core. I love the colours of this one. It's all blue and shiny and sparkly and it smells so nice. The journal itself, let's start having a look at that. This is an Archer and Olive. I ordered it from Miso Paper, which is a UK-based company, and honestly, best customer service out there for journals, in my opinion, so please do check them out. This is an Archer and Olive, and I went for the slightly thicker one this year. This is the 192 page journal instead of the usual 160 something. And it is already covered in dust and cat fur, courtesy of my house and my cat, so yay! But as with all Archer and Olive, you get a really beautiful cover, you get a really lovely design on the front, you get the elastic pen loop, and there is an envelope in the back, as well as 2 tassels for you to mark where you are. But getting into the journal, we begin with my name page opening front cover. So we have one of my favourite stickers ever. I ordered this a few weeks ago. I can't remember the name of the shop, but I will link it below. My toxic trait is always falling for the villain. I mean, yes, a little bit is definitely a problem. So we just have obviously my name, some decor, and just to make it nice, and then we have my actual yearly cover page. So the order that I did that I got the stickers, I got this piece of art and I just thought it'd be really nice to use as the focal point. I'm sticking with themes that I've used for the past couple of years because I've really enjoyed using them and I don't really see the point in changing something that doesn't need changing. So it is going to be black, gold, silver, stars and moons, things like that. However, I have gone more simplistic with my designs this year and I've gone slightly less crowded with the pictures and all the prettiness because I want this to be a little bit more functional this year. As I said, I've gone for the thicker journal as well with more pages because I am trying to do it that everything for my reading journal is in one journal this year. We'll see how we get on with that, but that is the hope, and I'm changing things up a little bit. So I've got my usual spreads at the start that I'll take you through now, and then for my monthlies I'll be doing a different format to how I've done in previous years. But we have, like I said, my cover page. We then have my usual page where I've got my reading goals. For 2023, I've gone slightly lower than I did this year. This year I went for 80 books. Next year I'm going for 75. And then we've got my goals that I'll be going through more in depth in another video. But just so you can see here, I've got various ones that are reading based and then I've got a couple of YouTube ones. And yeah, every year I try to vary up what I'm going to do with my goals. For example, this year, one of my goals was to read more books written by non-binary authors, which I've done. For next year, one of my biggest things is to try and get my NetGalley score up because I am far too behind on my arcs this year. And then you can see I've got chonkers because this year I've read 3 or 4, I think, books that are like 700-800 pages. And I've realised that they're not as terrifying as I thought, and I will be actually starting the year with a big chonker because I'm starting my year next year with Priory of the Orange Tree. So yeah. We then have my books read spread. I've given myself 100 books this year. Last year I only had 80 books on the shelves and I've realised that I've hit the goal of 80, but then I've now got no space to put any other books that I read. And I like to see every book that I read on the shelves. For next year, even though my goal is 75, you can see I've got 100 books on the shelf ready to go. So any that I don't end up filling in, I'll just colour in black or something. And I've gone with the most simplistic design I've done yet on the books. And I'll be doing a colour code next year with ebook, audiobook and physical. I thought about doing a graphic novel and manga one as well because it's kind of a different format, but I was like, well, I don't really want too many colours because it might just start to get a little bit confusing and clunky looking. Moving on, we'll have the 5-star Hall of Fame. So every time I rate a book 5 stars, I'll print a cover off and stick it in. And again, as with my shelves, any that don't end up filled in at the end of the year, we'll just get a little card or something to fill it, or I'll put a little bit of artwork or something, I don't yet know. And from those, I will then be doing my book bracket. Now, I'm actually kind of disappointed at how this came out. I think I made the mistake of actually using a paint marker to colour in the boxes. I should have just used a regular pen, but I thought I was being clever, and all I've done is just made it look a little bit not great, and I'm not so keen on the gold. But I do love this sticker, which came in the same order as my Falling for the Villain one, and yeah, it works quite nicely. So as you can see, I rolled the dice, and whatever number it landed on, that was the month that I filled in. So we've got the months written in random down the side, and then at the end of each month I will choose a book of the month that will go into this box. This year I've been doing it as I go, where I've been filling it. Next year I might just wait until the end of the year and do a video separately where we work out the book of the year. Maybe, I don't yet know. Yeah, then obviously these two will go head to head, then these two, then these two, then these two, until finally we've got our finalists, and I will then have a spread dedicated to the book that ends up winning Book of the Year. I'll have the cover of the book on this page, and then a little bit of writing here, just talking about why I loved it so much, why it became Book of the Year, maybe add in some quotes. I don't know yet, but that's what that's going to be. And then the last couple of years I've done sort of like a 21 in 21 and then a 22 in 22 spread, but I've not really done too great with those. I think I've set too many books on those spreads, and also I keep forgetting to check them. So next year I am doing a self-destruct book tag. I've picked 12 books. I will be doing a video for Bookmas. I think it's tomorrow or the next day that one will be uploaded. And so these are the 12 books that I have chosen. Some of these have just been on my shelves for far too long. Some of them are books that for some reason I'm just really nervous about getting to. I think it's a good selection, and there's various ones. And then I just love this sticker so much. I got these from a market where they were just selling them individually, and I've got this and there's a couple more further on. And then I also bought these ones from Etsy, which again I will link everything below. And I'm quite happy with how the title came out with this. This is where I was saying about where it's like some of the spreads are more sort of just black and white, but I think it actually works really nicely and it works quite cleanly. And then I'm bringing back my series tracker. I was debating whether or not to include this, but then when I went back and looked through my series on Goodreads that I've started, I realised I had a lot more to finish than I thought. So it's just nice and easy to just have a series tracker. And then I've got in black are books that I have read quite a while ago. So these are before 2022. Grey are the books that I read in 2022. And then yellow will be, well, the golden colour will be the books that I read in 2023. And it's just nice because I can see at a glance how many books are in each series and how many I've got left to read. It's also quite handy for working out wish lists for birthday and things, because I can just say, look, these are the books that I need to get to finish the series. Please buy them for me. And then we've got sort of looking at the year ahead. We've got most anticipated, and I think I used this one a couple of years ago, but I just love this little coming soon sticker. I've done a yearly calendar, and basically just whenever I see a book that I'm really interested in, I will just make a note of it in the box for the month. The only problem with this sometimes is dates change quite a lot for some books. There was one book last year that was due out in January and it eventually came out in November, and the release date changed about 5 times. So I ended up just moving it around. So that's just like my calendar of releases for those books that I just have an interest in. And then for the ones that I am most excited for, there will be more, because obviously there's always my Nalini Singhs in here. The Threads of Power by V. Schwab is due to release next year. but we don't yet have confirmed dates. And a few of the books that I'm also super excited for, we have dates and we have names and stuff, but they haven't yet released the cover art, so I want to wait until I've got the cover, like the Sunbearer Trials book 2. As soon as the cover is released, I'll be sticking that in. But you can see there's a few authors that you might recognise, like TJ Klune, Margaret Rogerton. I loved Sorcery of Thorns. Yep, Sorcery of Thorns, so cannot wait to get that. You Are Not Alone is a non-fiction, and it's different people's stories of grief and how they coped. Gwen and Art Are Not in Love. I got a sampler of this when I went to Yalk, and honestly, I loved it, and I've read it like 3 times now, and I cannot wait for this to come out. It just looks brilliant. A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. I just think that could be hilarious. And then Never a Hero is book 2 in the Monsters series by Vanessa Len. Moving on, we have arcs. So I am going to be really hard on myself this year, trying to actually get my NetGalley score up and properly track my arcs. So I've got 2 pages of this, and we've just got like where it's from, the title, author, when is it published, when did I get it, who the publisher is, special instructions, because sometimes they tell you specific tags that they want you to use for the book. And then finally, just a little check for myself whether I've read and reviewed it. And then that's just an extra page. And then we have my pre-orders. So you can see here, I've got shop, book and author, publishing date. And then when I get it, I'll tick it. And if I didn't get it, I'll cross it. And then we have my buddy reads. So, as I said, kickstarting in January with Priory of the Orange Tree. That's with Chloe from Chloe H, who I will link below. And please check her out. She's the sweetest person on the planet. And then I thought this sticker was pretty apt to represent buddies and friends, because we are, like, we love each other and they are sweet and it's just nice. I also realised that I spelt there wrong, because thanks dyslexia. There will be a couple more spreads, so I'll have my 52 and 52 challenge and my Beat the Backlist challenge. However, as of yet, those ones haven't been released. 52 and 52 has, but I haven't yet been able to print it. Beat the Backlist hasn't even been announced yet, so I'm concerned that that's not even going ahead next year. So I will leave the space for them, and you'll see those in a later video. I've taken out a lot of the unnecessary spreads this year. So last year I had things like book birthdays in there, I had wish lists, I had like a year in statistics page that I had last year, so this was my year in statistics. And as much as it looks nice, I realised I don't really need it, because I have Corpile, and that's just 2 pages being used up by that I could be using in the journal. So I have removed a few of them. And yeah, I've just been trying to be a little bit more careful with what spreads I use, and thinking about, do I actually need these spreads? When it comes to my monthly spreads, instead of doing like I usually do, where I just do loads of graphs and charts and stuff like this, where I do tables and fill stuff in as I go, I'm actually going to be following the method that Plant-Based Bride uses. I love her videos and I love how she does her reading journal, and she just does like either half a page or a page per book, where she just writes a little bit about what she thought about the book, and occasionally she'll do a double page spread for a book that she really loved. And I just think that that will be a much nicer way to look at my books, rather than have like monthly stats like I did here last year. I will still have a cover page. I will still possibly have my days read, although I'm thinking I might not. But I'm not going to have like my TBR written down. I'm only going to write down like this page, where I'm just going to have a page of the books that I read with my ratings, and then just go through and we'll have just like a little bit of writing about each of the books that I read. Like I did here with the Love Hypothesis, I just printed off some fan art, a couple of quotes that I really loved. And then obviously this year what I'll do is I'll also make some notes about what I loved about the book or didn't love. And yeah, I think it'll just be a nice little way to approach my reading journal. So it's actually more like a journal rather than filling in spreadsheets all the time. And I think it'll be a bit more personal then. And I wanted it to be so that when I read it through, I'll actually go back and read through it. Whereas normally what I tend to do is I'll fill in my reading journal, I'll get to the end of the year, it goes on a shelf, and then the only time I look at it again is when I'm looking at what spreads to use the following year. So it'd be nice to actually make this more of a journal format. If what you wanted was just the flip through and you didn't really care about all the blurb and you've just skipped to this point in the video, hi, welcome, thank you for checking this out. I really hope you enjoy the spreads. And for those of you that have listened and seen everything that I've already done, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to my rambles and my rationale for everything. So just going to take you through the spreads that I've done now. Let me know in the comments below if you have a reading journal. If you yourself have done a reading journal video, then feel free to link it so everyone else can go check it out as well as myself. And we're always interested to see what you guys get up to. And let me know, if you do keep a reading journal, what's your favourite spread to fill in? I would say I love doing my book of the year and I love doing the book bracket. But I actually find that even though it's the most tedious one to make, the series tracker is my favourite one just to look at. And I don't know, I just really like it. And also let me know if you are taking part in any reading challenges in January as well. Let me know. It's always good to get some ideas. I won't be taking part in as many readathons this year, mostly because I just want to focus on enjoying my reading rather than making it a challenge. And yeah, like I said, when it comes to my 52 and 52 and beat the backlist spreads, those will be slotted in here when they're ready, and I will show you guys over on my social media when they are ready. So that is my journal setup for 2023. I really hope that you've either gained some inspiration from this or you've just enjoyed listening to me rambling on for the past 10-15 minutes. As always, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content. And don't forget, if you do subscribe, to press the little bell so you always get notified when I upload. So that is today's Bookmas video. I will have a couple more journal videos coming up, but I can't remember off the top of my head when the next one is. But thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for all your support over the last couple of years. Here's to a fantastic 2023. And yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you're all good. I hope staying safe. And until the next Bookmas video tomorrow, bye.